Hello and welcome back to Heslop Tech Talk. It is Joel back with you, and I am joined by the Heslop brothers. Jeremy, would you like to introduce yourself to the people?
Yes, I will. Jeremy Heslop from OmniTech Pro. We help businesses get their technology straight so they can be more efficient and succeed. And just want to hang out with the bros and tech some tech.
I'm in. Sounds great. Josh, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, while I share this on the interwebs, we are live. Josher14 on the YouTubes and Josher.net on the website. And I'm the middle brother in the Heslop Tech Talk team and do a lot of Surface gaming and PC Master Race stuff. So, yeehaw.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Well, great. Well, we got a lot of stuff to go through here, and Jeremy has Chipotle waiting for him, and he's coming at the bit to get his noms. So we're gonna go right into this. Josh, there's something like a little like E3, something that happened. What are some roundup? What's happening with Microsoft's Xbox Box X in Box Xness?
Yes. So we have the Xbox One X that just got announced at E3 2017. And basically, it looks like an Xbox One S. Just
What?
They said it's even smaller. And they made a big talk about exclusives and true 4K power.
That was the biggest deal.
Yes. So basically, they have overhauled the Xbox One S. It's still an 8-core Jaguar AMD processor, but they've overclocked it heavily. They said they've created it from the ground up. And then they've also included 12 gigs of RAM for the whole system. That's the GDDR5. And so basically, they're saying that it's already about 30 games that are going to be in 4K at launch, running at 60 frames a second. So it's looking to be a really good system. They're selling it for $500, which is 150 more than I think it's usually $399 or $350 for the PlayStation, the PlayStation 4 Pro, depending on if you're getting it used or not. But yeah, and PlayStation 4 Pro only does up-resed 4K content, just like the Xbox One S. Yep. So they're not doing true 4K. So they're going to have their hands out. I mean, their work cut out for them to basically tweak how many 4K things and all that kind of stuff. But this is from Games Radar. They've got the E3 conference in 10 minutes, so you can watch the whole thing. They announced a bunch of games that are going to come out. But at launch, I mean, basically they're giving free 4K upgrades for Forza Horizon 3. Forza Motorsport 7 will be out in 4K. Gears of War 4, they're going to upgrade that for free. They're working on The Witcher 3. A bunch of games that you already may have in your library, they're going to give free 4K upgrades, which is nice.
That's awesome.
And they also announced original Xbox games backwards compatibility, starting with Crimson Skies, which is a plane World War II or World War I plane fighting game. So basically, they're fighting PlayStation tooth and nail, which is good, and they're one-upping them big time. In the teraflops department. So it's supposed to be 6 teraflops of graphics power.
So many teraflops.
I know, right? So, but I've got to show my
said you want some flops? We got the flops.
We got total flops. But so here we have one Xbox box, one Xbox One, one Xbox One box, one Xbox One X, and one Xbox One Xbox. So
I like it. Oh, that's so classic.
It's Inception for sure. So,
well, it's cool. So a bunch of people have been doing like research on whether or not you can build a custom PC that can run as effectively as the Xbox One X will be able to. And they're seeing like you can for maybe that price or cheaper, but like with the integration with the system built in, like everything with it, it's really, really hard to be able to beat that. And this is the closest we've ever been to a console actually competing in raw power to a PC system. And so PC Master Race people are still going to snub their nose at it and still going to be like, whatever, still a console. But this is the closest thing we've ever gotten to like a true actual powerhouse of a console, something that's going to really do well for games kind of across the board. So I think this is great for Xbox, and this is kind of the next step in 4K gaming. So
here's one of the things that the PC Master Race is talking about. They're talking about memory speed, and GDDR5 is graphics memory, and it's not system memory. And GDDR5 is based on DDR3 platform, whereas the new DDR4 is faster than DDR3, and it's faster for your system level stuff. But, you know, will it make a difference in the gaming console for load times and all that kind of stuff? I don't think so, because they're basically coding it to work with that kind of memory and all that kind of stuff. If you've played on an Xbox One, you know, load times aren't horrible. They do have 5,400 RPM, you know, drives in there, but you can slap an SSD on there and increase the load times just by plugging it in externally. So, and putting all your games on there. So it's going to be very interesting come November 7th. I'm definitely going to be getting one and trying it out and seeing how that all works out. And I'm going to be very curious to see how Xbox streaming works and seeing how that works on a PC with playing Xbox games in 4K to a 4K monitor on your PC and seeing what the latency is and all that kind of stuff. I'm assuming it's going to be the same as before, but you never know with, you know, AC wireless and how that can stream in your house and all that kind of stuff.
Speaking of streaming, a buddy of mine was telling me that the Switch is going to have online services, but it's not quite ready yet. And so Minecraft is going to be online, but they don't have their network set up yet. So you actually have to log into Xbox Live to play it online on the Switch to start. Like that. So they have a partnership with Microsoft because Microsoft is Minecraft.
They own Minecraft. Yeah.
So
I guess that makes sense.
They have a connection.
I mean,
there where you have to log into your Switch to Xbox Live and then play.
Exactly. Well, I mean, if you were playing like an EA sports game or something like that, and you wanted to keep your stats up to date or whatever, you would be logging into EA games.
Same thing with Uplay. You got to log into Uplay to get your Uplay points or whatever. Like Assassin's Creed does that.
It was comical. Nintendo's so far behind on the online presence. I'm excited for the new service where you can get free games and get downloads and all this stuff built in for like $4 a month or something like that. So
yeah, it looks like $25 a year or something like that. It's like really cheap.
I'm hopeful I will do it. But I really think E3, Nintendo killed it with their Mario Odyssey, with the new Metroid game, with so many new. There's a Fire Emblem that talked about
Rabbids.
Splatoon. What was that?
The Rabbids with the Mario integration. Yeah.
So it's fun. No, we didn't go to E3. We just were watching all the interwebs for it. But I didn't see too much from PlayStation that really got me pumped. But yeah, there's some good stuff that came out with E3. But sticking with the vein of Microsoft, Jeremy, what have they done with their new keyboard that's got you interested?
Yeah, I thought this was pretty cool. So everybody who has a PC and sees, they have their latest Android or iOS phone that has their fingerprint sensors, and they can just drop right in without having to type a password. And Mac comes out with their fingerprint sensors, and you don't have to, the least amount of things you have to do. I think maybe the old Windows Phone allowed you to log into your PC or something like that with the Windows Phone. But regardless, there's nothing really in Windows to get you like without some kind of crazy fingerprinting system or it built into a laptop, and you have to pay a little bit more sometimes for a higher end laptop. Well, Microsoft has a solution. It is their Microsoft called their modern keyboard, I guess. Let's see. I'll pull it up here.
I'm just a
It is,
guy.
yeah, exactly. It works with Windows 10 computers, and the Alt key on, or right next to the Alt key on the right side, is their fingerprint sensor that allows you to log directly into Windows 10. So I thought this was pretty neat because I'm kind of spoiled with logging into my Mac with I have Apple Watch, and I know it's when it for whatever reason, you know, I don't have my Apple Watch on me, or I don't have it turned on, or it's in the other room or whatever, and I have to type my password in, you know, trying to keep a long encrypted password. It's a pain in the butt. So I thought this was pretty cool. And for 129 bucks, it looks like it would be a decent keyboard.
It
Obviously
looks like a Mac keyboard.
It does very much so, but there's a couple other ones that are similar to this that are made by other manufacturers that have that chiclet style keyboard that, you know, and as long as the switches are decent, you know, the PC Master Race guys won't scoff at it too much. But for the average user that just wants to be able to log into their computer pretty quick and have a decent keyboard with the number pad, this seems like a pretty decent option. When I saw it, I thought it was pretty cool because, you know, just click it and boop, logged in.
Josh, does the new Surface Pro keyboard have the fingerprint sensor on it, or is that an upgraded version?
You have Windows Hello on the Surface Pro, so you just point your face at it and it logs in. Now, they do have the Surface.
Someone scared me.
They have the Surface Pro 4 type cover with the fingerprints on the cover where you just tap it real quick. They also are working on a fingerprint ID with the new Alcantara, I'm told, but I'm not sure if...
I figured they would. I don't know why they wouldn't.
Yeah, they want to be able to charge $30 more for that sweet fabric, but...
Vincent was just asking about the new iPad. So the new 10.5 Pro, people are really liking that. And with the iOS 11, with the new dock at the bottom where you can have like, I think it's 20 or so applications, they're really focusing in on multitasking, actually making the iPad more of a viable laptop replacement. It's still not there, but with some of their multitasking now, split screen, being able to drag and drop from one side of the split screen to the other was huge for the iPad. Like you can drop a file from your file management into an email by dragging and dropping from one window to the other. Really big deal for the iPad. And I was really cool to see that. I saw some people like Quinn Snazzy Q had posted that the single core performance on the iPad Pro is actually faster than the new MacBook, and which outperforms the, you know, 12-inch MacBook, which is crazy. So their in-house, I think what is the A11X at this point, is really fast chipsets, and they're really moving up. Would I purchase it? I personally wouldn't because I don't have a need for it. But if you know, that fits your needs, I mean, that's great. But for me, I'd rather just, you know, what is it? Is it $800 starting for the 10.5 or something like that? Or no, I think it's $699, I think is what it is.
Now, you don't need a new flashy iPad Pro to get iOS 11. I've got a quick screen share here. This is the iOS 11 compatibility. And if you see the lowest ones, the iPad Air 1 and the iPad Mini 2, basically anything that has 64 bits will accept iOS 11. So you can get that sweet dock goodness without having to pay, you know, $400 or $500. But of course, the new iPad, which is only like, you know, $330, you know, is still a decent iPad. They basically took the iPad Air 1 guts. Well, not guts, but basically the chassis from the iPad Air 1 is what they're saying to make that.
they did a weird thing where it's not the same screen laminate, so there's space in between it.
Yes, there's still a little bit of space, but the average user is not going to know it. And I have the iPad Air 1, and it's still a decent screen. You're still, it's not like, oh my gosh, this is such a nice screen, but it's still really good. So
yeah, I looked at picking up like an iPad Mini 3 or something like that, just so I can learn about all the new iOS 11 stuff and do reviews or whatever on it, because picking that up, iPad Mini 3, that'd be like $250 or something like that. Maybe $200. And
I can send you my iPad Air for a few weeks if you want to do a review.
But yeah, it's cool. I'm happy that they're moving to that. And people were saying, is this the steps that Apple's trying to take to make one OS and just say Apple OS, and their in-house chips run on their MacBooks and on their iPads and on their iPhones. Now this, I don't think that would work for the MacBook Pros and the iMacs, stuff like that, because you're not gonna be able to get the power from it. But some of the baseline things like the MacBook, a laptop, kind of like a Chrome OS type thing, that I think that would be great, because you probably would even get more power out of it because it's underutilized, and it's worth the $1,200 for it.
The 12-inch iPad Pro is basically what the Mac a MacBook would be if it was like a Chrome OS. So it has the keyboard, it has the pen. It's essentially your sub laptop.
It's
but at that point, you're running like 1,000 plus.
A pencil, sorry, whatever. and it doesn't come with the pencel. It's another $100.
No, the keyboard and the pencil, that's going to be a couple $100.
They are separate, but
starting at $700.
Right. Which is still cheaper than a Surface. But if you need a whole Windows experience, get a Surface. But I mean, if you just
Chrome OS versus iOS on an iPad, Chrome OS, I can get a really good Chromebook for $300.
That is true. But I still prefer iOS over.
But can you run Crossy Road on it?
Don't know.
These are first world problems. You can't run Crossy Road on Chrome OS. So
there you go.
That settles it.
Will it run Angry Birds? Maybe.
You can hack it, but Android apps on there, so you could. But
okay.
Well, moving right along.
If it's big enough, yeah.
Moving right along. There's a lot of hype around this phone that's coming out. Two phones are hyped up, iPhone 8, but I'm more excited about the Note 8. These are the renders that have been shown most recently, and I think it's looking good. I mean, they're not really going crazy, but look at that, like jade green. That's pretty crazy. We got. I'm really liking these different colors. Tom's has an ad here that won't go away.
Chef,
but
advocate, get the shoes.
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously not doing anything out of the ordinary here. It just looks like an S8 with a dual camera, but I'm fine with that. But it's similar chassis. They leaked a screen glass for this chassis, and these are renders of the camera here. So I'm excited. I think they're looking good. The new color, some things like that. This looks like this would be solid. I don't see any reasons that Samsung has to go crazy here and really try to go out of their way to do something really big. I mean, they just need to keep the trust of the people from Note 7, do something that's super solid, and just do it well. So, you do a little bit bigger S8 Plus, have the pen in there and a dual camera, you got a winner. I really hope they do something different with the camera and really improve it, because the S8 had the same camera as the S7, which was still a really great camera. And not to mention they put a lot of software in introduction into it, a lot more in there to fine-tune how they did white balance and some of the dynamic range and things like that. So it's producing better pictures than the S7, especially with RAM management and things like that. But we'll see if they try to go a little out there with the camera for this, because the Note 8 and the Note series has always kind of pushed the edge a little bit with some of the camera technology. What do you guys think about the Note 8?
Josh is going to buy one.
I'm probably going to buy one.
Exactly.
I'll just sell my S7 Edge and go there. I wish they came out with a Surface phone. I mean, if they had, I would do that. But the Windows on ARM is just not there yet. So they're waiting to reveal all that. So, I mean, with all a stylus on OneNote, you know, that's my big thing in having it on my Surface when I'm using my Surface. But when I'm at work and stuff like that, I'd love to be able to have a stylus. So it's.
I mean, all the leaks, all the rumors for years, they've been saying Surface phone. We got pictures of it, all this, and who knows? They're probably developing it and they're probably working on it, but they'll probably have a small team that's like working for the right time that they can get the right chipset. That, you know, are they building an in-house chipset or are they doing that? Like the Google Pixel 2, there's been leak renders. I didn't show that, but there's leak renders that Google is doing an in-house chip for it, which is pretty crazy. And basically it just looks like a Google Pixel 1, but stretched to 18.5:9 ratio with barely any bezels this time because the Pixel 1 had terrible bezels. And then a dual camera on the back. So Pixel 2 is looking killer too with an in-house chip. So I think that's what people are doing. They're just saying, hey, Apple's been crushing it with their in-house chips. Qualcomm had a couple rough chipsets in a row, and now the 835 is much better, but there was a few with the 801, a couple of those that were like just okay and had some issues, and 810. And so manufacturers are like, we can do this. So yeah, we'll see. But speaking of manufacturers, last time we talked about the Essential phone and how we were excited about that. But something that kind of made me scratch my head a little bit is that the Essential phone is going to be a Sprint exclusive here. So I'm not sure what I feel about this. This is interesting. I have Sprint, and it does really well here where I'm at in West Virginia. But I know that across the nation, it isn't the strongest network. I mean, obviously out in Kansas City where they're from, it's huge, and more Midwest, it does really well. But like
down here in Texas,
I was gonna say Texas is not that big of a deal.
Parents are like holding their phones up in the air and be like, "I've almost got reception."
Yeah, I know. When I visit you, I don't really get too much, and so this is interesting. The rumors is that Andy Rubin has shares in SoftBank, which is the company that owns Sprint. And you're like, is this a conflict of interest here? I don't know. So that's where I'm scratching my head. I'm like, hey, is he hedging his bets and putting some money in there to like help Sprint out? And when asked about it, one of the heads up in Essential phone said, we're not going for the networks that are current. We're going for the networks of the future.
that just means we're a nobody company. We don't have a platform big enough to spend the money to be on every single platform out there. So let's choose one that makes sense.
Sprint is the future.
So I mean, whether or not he has an idea, has any interest in Sprint or not, they had to pick one, and they had to find somebody that was willing to take a chance on them.
Are the people that are on Sprint going to buy this phone? I think there's going to be a lot of people on Sprint that are going to buy this phone. Are some people going to jump ship, go to Sprint to get this phone? Yes, but not that many. So a lot of people, they're going to stick. They know the Note 8 is coming to AT&T or Verizon, so they're going to
wait for that.
So this is crazy.
Deal with it.
I'll show this real quick. Sprint decided, hey, we are going to do, if you're a Verizon customer and you switch to Sprint, we'll give you a free year of data. Free year of data. So right now, I've seen people posting about it. Tech reviewers posting about they're switching to Sprint for the year and getting an Essential phone and doing that. So yeah, right now you can switch to Sprint. And there's a $199 admin fee for it, but Other than
Oh my gosh,
get
I'm not doing it.
4G LTE, and yeah. So,
minimum gigs or just
so
unlimited?
it's capped at 8 megabytes a second for game streams, and you can only do free up to 1080p. It seems. So there are some stipulations, but it's
Wow.
and you'll get 10 gigs towards a mobile hotspot. That's crazy because that's another $10, $15 for free too.
Yeah. Well, as long as they don't neuter the hotspot. But
Yeah.
it'll get some people that are dumb enough to do it. But
But that sounds crazy. So yeah, so Sprint's doing some interesting things. I think one of the things they mentioned in the article though was that Sprint is going to be the first to the 5G network because they've already started rolling out engineers and towers and stuff for it.
Infrastructure.
So, the infrastructure for it. So Sprint has always been on the edge, really trying to push that. So we'll see. It's just they're not as widespread. Verizon has such a bigger LTE network. Same thing with AT&T. But hey, it is what it is, and I wish all the best to Essential Phone. Hopefully that does well. But Josh, going back, this is a Microsoft-y day. We just got all kinds of Microsoft goodness. It's been a big, couple weeks here for them. Josh, what did you pick up this week?
I kind of got a Surface Pro yesterday. So yesterday was a weird launch, Thursday, but they launched now it's called the Surface Pro, but it's the 2017 model because they do have a Surface Pro back in 08, 09 or something like that, way back in the day. But this is a non-tech's review. They've got a very in-depth review, mostly of the i7 model. The i7s do actually have an internal fan, but the i5 and the M3 models are fanless. And I picked up the i5 with 8 gigs of RAM with this nice cobalt blue Alcantara keyboard, which it actually does feel really good. It's a super durable. I think they put like a layer of something on top to make it smoother, but on the back it's still like a suede-ish kind of feel to it. It feels really good. So we'll have to see how it handles over the next year or so. But
that's the pricing for Surface Pros.
Okay, the Surface Pro, the M3, my Surface Pro, just the tablet was $12.99 for the i5 8GB model. It's $9.99 for the i5 with 4 gigs of RAM and 128, and $7.99 for the M3 with 4 gigs of RAM and 128 gig SSD. So I thought, the i5 with 8 gig is pretty much a sweet spot for what you spend. Because if you want to go up to the i7 with 8 gigs and 256, you're going to be spending $15.99, so $1,600. So it's basically an extra $300. But basically this is incremental updates. So they're doing Kaby Lake, whatever you want to call it, processors. So they do have some megahertz bump on the chip. And so yeah, here we go. The M3 has the Intel HD 615 graphics. The i5 has HD 620, and the i7 has the Iris Plus 640. All the same size screens still. So the M3 is the only one that has the neutered TDP. That's 4.5 watts. And that's the Y processors, but the i5 and i7 have the U models with 15 watts TDP. And actually, I've already seen reports that the i7 has a 30 watt power envelope total. So I'm not sure it's able to sustain better gaming. So
I was like, don't know what that means.
I know, right? Well, basically it's the thermal power limits that how much power it draws on the wattage and stuff like that. So you can hit that limit before you actually start throttling. It throttles the processor. It basically lowers the processor megahertz down.
Or overheats. It
overheats, and then the sensors in there say, don't stop what you're doing.
Beep, boop, beep, boop,
So yeah, but it does have a bigger battery, which they're 45 watt hour batteries. But it still has the same USB 3.0 one port, mini display port, and Surface Connect port with the headset jack. So M3 weighs 1.69 pounds. i5 and i7 weigh 1.7 pounds. And so it's going to look like a Surface Pro 4, essentially. So if I say which one should you get if you are wanting to do more gaming and heavy video editing and stuff like that, get the i7 at least. If you are just doing light video editing, light gaming, get the i5. And if you're just going to be doing notes and word processing, you can handle the M3. But it's all going to depend on, hey, are you going to want more storage space? So you're going to have to move up to that $12.99 to get that 256 SSD. So, what
if I want to run Facebook? Which one should I buy?
You can get the M3. But it's the setup. Actually, they streamlined it with Cortana. You can just talk to your device to say, hey, I want the English layout. Yes. It was actually really sweet to load in there. So they've actually done a lot of improvements on the setup of the device, and it seems really snappy so far. But with the fanless model on the i5, the gaming performance is definitely throttled. So I've had to throw that sweet Honeywell Vortex style fan on there to improve the gaming performance for longer periods of time. So are you going to be able to run Minecraft on Windows 10 Store? Of course. But if you want to run, or you're going to be able to run Candy Crush, you're going to be able to run all the, sweet, little apps and stuff like that. But I'm still doing more tests. I've already run Dota 2 and Counter-Strike and Skyrim Vanilla, not the special editions. So it's been interesting so far. So I'm going to keep it for another couple weeks and then probably upgrade to the i7, and that'll probably be my forever device. So because it needs an internal fan. That little device, I don't care why people are saying we don't want a fan in there. You're going to need a fan for such a thin and light device. And it's not that loud. It's not going to bother.
Right.
Do they have all the colors and all the SKUs? All the type covers they have all those colors.
Any device.
Still any device. So yeah, the back of the device is still silver.
No matter what.
Yeah. So, but you can just throw a D-brand skin or skin on there. I need to figure out. I'm not paid by D-brand anyway.
Hashtag not sponsor. Hashtag help.
Yes, D-brand. Send me a Surface Pro skin, but they don't even have one yet. The corners are a little bit more rounded, so I don't know if the skin's going to change or if it'll still work. So I think I'm going to buy a cheap skin for Surface Pro 4 and see if it'll fit on there and do a little video. Yeah. But a
little Zacto knife action.
Yes, the only bummer is the Alcantara keyboards are $30 more, so they're 160 instead of 130. But you can find the Surface Pro 4 type covers for like $80 on Amazon. So if you don't need that fabulous fabric that all your friends are going to want, you can get by just buying one on Amazon. But
you won't be the coolest kid on the block anymore.
You won't be the coolest kid on the block. And actually, I bought the bundle with Microsoft Complete, which is their 2-year accident policy warranty. So you drop it, you crack the screen or whatever. I think the only thing that you have to pay for is cracking the screen, which costs $50. So, but that's 100. It's usually 150, but they bundle it with a sleeve that's up to $80, Office 365 for a year, and the type cover, the regular type covers for $300. So you end up saving a good bit of money if you want to bundle all that. And if you wanted to add the Alcantara keyboard, it's $330 instead of $300. So
yeah.
So you're still saving some bucks on if you were going to get the Complete and 365 and a nice sleeve. So I actually got a really nice sleeve. I have that with me. I'm downloading games downstairs right next to my my deal. But this is actually from Toomey, and has a nice
Toomey.
a zipper here that you can put slimmer objects, and then it actually has a it actually still has the throw that out of there. It actually does have a spot for your pen and for business cards, and a nice couple little things for flash drives, and I'm sure it'll hold the deal right there. And it's a nice padded thing for your Surface Pro device. So
I like it.
Yep. I know my little girl. Hey, Evelyn, come on up here. Come on the stream.
So, Jeremy, you have something that's pretty cool. Something that they've been talking about making for years. This is like a lifestyle device. Tell me a little bit about what's happening here.
So if you've ever gone to another country and you want to say, "Hey, how are you?" but it says, "Hello, I love you" instead. This one plumber from Australia came up with a new device. So, hey, girlfriend.
Look who it is.
Evelyn wants to join the TED Talk. Stay up here.
All right.
Stay standing.
Tech Talk.
Hey.
He's like, whatever, Dad, later.
She's got to get over the overlay.
Yeah, exactly.
Here, sit on here. There we go.
She's like,
can you get up?
See ya.
No, she can't. She can't.
That's awesome.
Evelyn Pearl's debut on TikTok. Say hi.
Wave.
Say hi, everybody.
Hi, Evs.
Can you see yourself? No. Here.
No.
Let's put you on screen here so you can see yourself. Say, I like Heslop TikTok.
She's trying.
Close enough.
All right.
So
Go back
good.
to mommy, okay? Go back downstairs.
Go back to Grandpa.
I love it. So you're in another country. You're trying to say, "Donde está el baño?"
Exactly. So this guy, go for it. Yeah, this guy from Australia, he was sick of all the competition out there that was doing translations on phones or on other devices. His name's Danny May. And he came up with this device called the Translation One-to-One. And it is Bluetooth and phone free, so you don't have to use, it doesn't have to be on the phone. It has a 3G chip in there. And it uses IBM's Watson to take larger snippets. So it doesn't do word for word translation. It actually does phrase translation. Super, super fast. So they say it does it in pretty much real time. As fast as that 3G card can send it, they'll do it. It's supposed to be on the market for about $179. So if you're going to be traveling around the world and want to make sure that you can understand what other people are saying, and be able to potentially speak back to them, and just you're repeating it back in your earpiece, what the no hablo español, you can read it back to that. They say they've gotten to 85% accuracy when field testing, and that was their goal. So
Wow.
I thought it was pretty cool because there's not that many devices that are dedicated to this. And there's a lot of apps. You have your Google Translate and some other apps that try to do it in real time, but a lot of those are doing word for word literal translations.
Say it again.
Yeah, exactly. And so something that's dedicated to this, that can just be in your ear, that will talk to you and other people, and actually do more of an interpreting than a translation is pretty cool. So
That's
I thought it was
exciting.
neat. Yeah.
Oh, ex-plumber he was.
Yes, he was an ex-plumber. Yeah, and I guess he was doing some traveling around in some different places. Australia is close to China, so he was in China and was trying to say hello, how are you, and it actually said hello, I love you to a police officer, because his some documentation was stolen within the first 4 days. So, first 4 hours. So his passport was stolen. He was trying to talk to the police, and of course they couldn't understand it. So I think that was neat. So it handles English, Japanese, French, Chinese, Italian, Spanish, German, and Portuguese, which is a pretty big list. I mean,
Yeah.
Most places in the world can speak one of those 8.
Yeah. Yes, that's exciting. I mean, that's something that people have been trying to develop for years, is like a real-time translation. You can speak it, you can hear it. And I have no doubt that in the future there's just going to be like little earbuds that just pop in. can't even see them and it'll translate immediately. But this is a great iteration, a great step for that process. And I think this will be so cool if you're traveling. It's so great. I mean, if you're an international business person, you know, you're going to Europe to look at fashion, or you're going to, you know, something for tech in Japan, like this would be so great just to have it on. I mean, obviously you're going to want to have translators and people with you, but if this is going to speed up the process and help you with everyday tasks, that could be a great, really cool investment. But speaking of really good investment, we have a kind of a big deal that happened this morning. Josh, Jimmy, you got a cool 13.7 bill lying around?
You know what? I just sold all of my shares to what was that what was that big company? I don't know. No, I don't.
Amazon just dropped $13.7 billion and bought Whole Foods. They're like, you know what? You know, we want a grocery store. So they did. And now not only do they have this crazy amount of online presence, they actually have physical stores. So the stock jumped 28% today from that, and crazy for Amazon. This is like a huge rollout for them to start competing with things like Walmart and bigger places for the set box actual physical locations. So this is crazy to see them step out to do that. I saw a funny thing. It was like, the year is 2020. I said, "Hello, Alexa, order me groceries," and a drone brought it to my house. You know, like that's possible. That could happen. I mean, they could have the Whole Food that you say, "Hey, Alexa," and it appear and bring it to you. You know.
Here's what I think they're going to do. I think they're going to set up like dash stations in Whole Foods that they're going to be able to deliver. You know, it's like the groceries. You can set up to pick up your groceries after they pick up an online order kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think they're going to do that at Whole Foods for convenience for people. And I think they're also going to have a delivery service from the Whole Foods.
Like I think you'll be able to Amazon, like, I need bread, milk, and eggs. And you order it, and then you go walk in, and they're like, here's your eggs, Mr. Heslop.
Well, of course, they're going to be cage-free, organic, and antibiotic-free eggs. So,
what was the name of the Amazon thing that they had that you could walk in and you just with your phone?
Amazon store.
Yeah. Well, they you have a kiosk
things. No. There was a thing that Amazon released that.
Yeah, it was in New York or somewhere like that, where you walked in, you grabbed everything, and it detected what you actually pulled off the shelves, and then paid for it when you left.
Yeah, so there was no cashiers, and no need for any like cards or anything. It literally just used the proximity with your phone and the sensors in the shelves. You took something off the shelf, you went and you left, and it charged your Amazon account. That's pretty crazy. So if they did something similar at Whole Foods, but I think it's going to be more like you said, Josh, where the integration with the online app that you might be able to just go in and pick up stuff. Like I have pickup lockers in Hagerstown, Maryland, that I can send things to and have things there. And the dash button, would be cool too. So this is interesting. This is Amazon expanding more and more and further reaches out into the world. It's getting crazy how much monies that they're throwing around. Hey, Monty, thank you. I appreciate that. So I don't know. It's pretty good. What are you guys' thoughts? I mean, this is pretty nuts.
Yeah, I saw an article that said Amazon's becoming Walmart before Walmart becoming Amazon. So I mean, Walmart's been trying to get their online presence and get deliveries and have third-party sales and stuff, but it's just so junky on there to get anything done, and it's just not a very live environment that they're promoting. So Amazon's coming now the opposite way, where they're gonna, if Walmart doesn't step up their game, they're gonna have some competition. The only thing is Whole Foods isn't everywhere that Walmart is, so
it's not. And the closest Whole Foods to me is like 30 miles away. So
I think like Loudoun County is closest to me, like an hour away.
yeah, but maybe Amazon's going to be like, hey, we're going to pick up this mom and pop, grocery store and turn it into a Whole Foods.
Yeah.
And you never know. I mean, but that's a lot of money. And how many Whole Foods are there in the country?
I don't know. That's a good question. But interesting infrastructure move. They know what they're doing, and they're going to be making some cash money dough off that. I'm sure somehow it'll be very interesting to see what model they want to do with that. Evelyn agrees. But
Sales awesome.
Guys, this has been a fun show. I have enjoyed hanging out with you guys. Any other thoughts? Josh, tell them what you got coming up next. I know you got lots of videos happening.
Yes, totally. Going to be doing more gaming tests on the Surface Pro i5 model. I got the new Surface Pen. Going to be doing a comparison video with the old Surface Pen. And yeah, just lots more benchmarks coming up. And probably going to be doing another giveaway here soon. So look out for Joshua14 on the YouTubes and on the Facebooks. So we will catch you very soon.
Sir Germs, what do you got happening besides delicious Chipotle waiting for you?
Just keeping up with social media posts about business technology and how owners can succeed. So be checking out all our social channels and occasionally check out the website for a blog update.
Nice. You got your nom.
All right.
Nom nom.
Tell everyone bye-bye, Evelyn.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you guys so much for watching. It has been a great time. Lots of great stuff coming out on the channel soon. Thank you for watching Tech Talk every week. Bear with us, as it might be a Thursday, it might be a Friday. We're figuring that out with some changing of schedules here. But you guys are awesome. We're thankful for you guys.
Get that egg.
Yeah, you got the egg. It is pretty
The egg
awesome.
is awesome.
All right. See y'all later.
See you later.
Y'all keep it